Yeah, big fight. What you want to know?
What's gonna happen, man? It's back at Thomas Mack seeing the prime against Marquez.
Listen, man, it's a tough fight, man. I never take on easy opponents. I always fight the best available guys out there. Brandon Rios wanted to fight me. Hey, I told you, man. You pay me to fight anybody, I'll fight him. You know what I'm saying? So the fight is gonna happen. It's gonna be explosive. The fight fans know what to expect. They know what I bring. They know what Rios bring. Non-stop action.
Going back to Thomas and Mack, which might be arguably your greatest win against Marquez.
My greatest
How
fight
do you like
ever.
to go there?
It's my greatest fight ever. Yeah, it was my greatest fight ever there. But the Thomas and Mack Center, did a $75 million facelift, so it is gonna be different. So it's the first fight back, at Thomas and Mack since they did the facelift. So I'm excited, man. It's gonna be new. It's gonna feel good. It's gonna be great.
Make it better than going to the Forum, what they originally wanted?
Well, the Forum is close to home. It's California. We two California natives, so I think it's great. But I love the fact that it's in Vegas. We'll be one of the shows, and I said the win is nice. So we'll be one of the shows that night, November 7th. And I love, me, man. I'm a businessman, dude. Vegas, no taxes. I love that.
We interviewed Teddy Atlas today. He's excited. You're excited. Why Teddy? What was it about him that said that's the guy?
Well, Teddy don't have a million fighters. Teddy was retired. I told Teddy, hey, man, you can't die with all that knowledge, buddy. You got to pass it on. And the reason why Teddy actually is doing this is because of the person that I am. The life that I live outside of the ring. Now, I'm a family guy. He's the same way. He wants to help me, and he knows he can help me get better. And that's the reason why I chose Teddy. It was one thing that he told me after my fight, Jesse Vargas fight. He said, Tim, he did an interview with me. He said, Tim, he said, do you know why you got hit with that right hand? And I said, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, I know why, because I got careless in the last round and I dropped my left hand. He said, yeah, you did that. But he was like, no, you want to know the real reason why? And I was like, what, Teddy? He said, okay. He said, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go back. I want you to watch round 1. Okay? Watch round 1 and see what you do. Go and watch round 6. Go and watch round 11, and then go watch round 12. And I was like, man, does this guy study me or something? Like, what the heck, So he said, this is what you look for. You look for yourself. You roll back your shoulders, and you telegraph your punch. You give your opponent a sign of what you're going to do. He said, you did in the first round, all right? And he said, he just missed you. He just missed you with the overhand right, He said, you did in the 6th. You did in the 11th. He grazed you in the 11th. And in the 12th, he landed that big shot. And he said, you know what you do when a guy drops in front of you? I said, no, I put my hands up. He said, no, you drop down to his level. And I was like, you drop to his level? He's like, yeah, when you see a guy, he's trying to sneak you. He drops down in front of you. He's trying to sneak you over the top, And I was like, wow, I was never taught that. I didn't know that. So I was like, wow, man, this guy has a high IQ. He hasn't trained fighters in a year, but he trained some of the best fighters in the world, particularly Mike Tyson. He trained Mike Tyson for many years. He had Povetkin, who was a Russian champion. He has a lot of other guys as well. So, like I said, he has the time. He's going to work it out with his schedule. I'm his only fighter. So, I feel it's a great fit, man. I think it's a great fit. I think I learned a lot from Teddy.
Jim, first meeting that he told you all that? Was that just off the first?
I didn't even meet him.
That was just
that was on a conversation that was on an interview I did with him after my Jesse Vargas fight. So with that being said, the meeting was like, when I met with him 2 days. I spent probably half a day with him. The second day, the first day, I spent about 7 hours with him. We watched video, we watched film, we watched my fights. We were just critiquing, all the things I did wrong. And he told me, he said, listen, Tim, there's small sins and there's mortal sins in boxing. He was like, you've been committing mortal sins. He said, if we can eliminate those mortal sins, he was like, you'll be a lot better off, champ. And I was like, okay. So he said, this training camp, we're going to work on not committing those mortal sins. And when you're fighting against a guy like Rios, who's tough, who's going to come in your face, who's going to throw big bombs, he said, you can't commit these mortal sins against this guy. He said, he will make you pay, Tim. And I said, okay. And he said, hey, you might not change overnight, in one training camp, but I can tell you, I'll make you a better fighter in 7 weeks, 20% better, 30% better in 7 weeks.